And here we are. 3 laps, 2 good friends. There can only be 1 winner, and anything goes. No cautions. If you fall off the track, you're pretty much out. Trent Dunham and Ryan Acosta are 2 good friends, and they're going to lead them off in the first match ever of the Season 2 of the championship. And the green light is on. And these drivers are gone. They're both running side by side. They're looking at each other's windows as they head through the first turn. And Trent Dunham, he's going to benefit from it as he pulls away from Ryan Acosta. But Ryan Acosta, he is not losing any ground at all. Both of these, oh man! Oh man, Ryan Acosta, whoa. I think his car touched one of the barriers off of the jump, and that's going to make him lose a lot of ground. And uh-oh, Trent Dunham got a bad bounce. That's going to make Ryan Acosta catch up a little bit. As Trent Dunham goes through that hard left turn and towards the S-curves as leader, but don't count out Ryan Acosta yet. Despite a bad bounce, he's going to do what he can. Remember, all it takes is just one mistake. As Trent Dunham will lead the first lap of the SCR tournament in Season 2. Ryan Acosta, he's going to do what he can to catch up to his good friend Trent Dunham. Here they come through that first big jump. Trent Dunham makes it as well as Ryan Acosta. And here comes the bumpy section of the course where drivers can fall off easily. And it looks like they both handle it okay. Let's go to the rear view of Trent Dunham. Trent Dunham, he just turned that wheel as hard as he can. Ryan Acosta, it looks like he's trying to close the gap and creep closer as Trent Dunham almost hits the barricades. Trent Dunham has hit the white light. This is the final lap of the first match, and Ryan Acosta, he's trying to close in. Here comes that big jump. And both drivers land hard. And I think Trent Dunham lost some speed. As they come towards the bumpy section now. And Ryan Acosta, he's coming closer. Looks like Trent Dunham's got a little bit of damage to his rear bumper. But he's not going to let it stop him as Ryan Acosta, he's coming closer and closer. He's trying to close the gap. But I don't think he's going to have enough time. Leaving his best friend in the dust, Trent Dunham only has 2 more turns to go. Now come down the front straightaway. It looks like Trent Dunham will win round number 1 and will advance into round 2. Trent Dunham advances into round 2 and eliminates his best friend Ryan Acosta. You gotta give it for Ryan Acosta. He tried his hardest despite having a bad jump. Let's head on to the second match. And here we are getting set for the second match of round number 1. It's between Dillon Poteet and Nicholas Wilson in the number 50. Trent Dunham has made his way into the second round. And here comes the start of match number 2. Green flag is out. And well, Nicholas Wilson, he almost slams the door on Dillon Poteet, but Dillon Poteet benefits from the inside line as they go through this big jump. And well, Dillon Poteet, he had a hard landing. But Nicholas Wilson, he's dead on his tail. As they're heading towards the bumpy section of the course now. And oh man, I think Dillon Poteet lost some speed because Nicholas Wilson, he's trying to make a move on the outside. You don't normally see that. And Nicholas Wilson, he's trying to close the gap, but Dillon Poteet, he's going to lead the first lap. Dillon Poteet leads the first lap in the 15 Subaru Impreza. And Nicholas Wilson, I bet he's just waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Down the big jump, Dillon Poteet and Nicholas Wilson, they both bounce hard. And I think Nicholas Wilson's trying to close the gap. Here they come through the bumpy section of the course now. And whoa, Nicholas Wilson, he is right there. And he's going to try to make the pass on Dillon Poteet. They took that jump side by side. And I think, and oh man, Nicholas Wilson, he capitalizes. He passes Dillon Poteet for the lead. Dillon Poteet better do what he can to get his lead back. As they're going through the high S curves right now, as they're turning into that final turn, and for the final lap, Nicholas Wilson takes the white flag in the lead. Dillon Poteet led the first, and Nick Wilson led the second. Here they come onto that big jump. Nicholas Wilson takes it first, and I think he landed good, as well as Dillon Poteet, and Dillon Poteet's coming back. Dillon Poteet, he is right there. And oh man, he gives Nicholas Wilson a tap. Oh man, Nicholas Wilson, he falls off the track. Oh my gosh. Oh, Nicholas Wilson falls off the track, and after Dillon Poteet gives him a tap. Oh my gosh, Dillon Poteet takes out Nicholas Wilson. And Nicholas Wilson has no choice but to retire to pit road. And heading into the final turn, we already have our round 2 matchup. Trent Dunham and Dillon Poteet are going to battle it out in round number 2, as Dillon Poteet wins the race. Oh my gosh, Nicholas Wilson. Nicholas Wilson's Mitsubishi Lancer is destroyed. He gets taken out by Dillon Poteet on the final lap. We're going to have to take a replay. We're going to have to watch the replay of that, as Dillon Poteet now advances to round number 2 in the SEGA Championship Rally Tournament. And here is a replay of what happened. Dillon Poteet just gives Nicholas Wilson a hard tap. Nicholas Wilson bounces the wrong way, and he just falls directly off the track. Oh my gosh, he flips 2, 3, 4. He flips 5 times, and he lands on his roof. Oh my gosh. We're going to have to take a look at the cockpit camera of Nicholas Wilson, because that was a hard crash. And here we are riding on board with Nicholas Wilson. This is after that first big jump and heading into the second turn. Nicholas Wilson had no idea Dillon Poteet was that close. He just got a bad bounce off the hill, and then he just went for a ride. As his car fully comes to rest on his roof. Not a good day for Nicholas Wilson, as he is eliminated. And here is our third match getting ready to take place. Jack Richards and Connor Breton. Both drivers, they are rookies in the SCR. We're going to have to see what they can do. As the green light is a go. 3 laps of action starting now. And both of them are pulling out exactly side by side. They're heading into the first turn. And Connor Breton, he's going to benefit from it. But Jack Richards, Jack Richards, he's staying side by side with that 29 car. They both take the jump at the exact same time. And oh man, Connor Breton, he almost performed a front flip. And they're still side by side. But I think Connor Breton's really going to benefit now. Here. Oh man! Oh no, problems with Jack Richards. I guess he had a right rear tire on the edge, and he falls off the track. Oh my gosh. Wow, Jack Richards in his first race. That is not how he wanted to go out. And Jack Richards, he is stuck. And he is retired back to pit road. And oh man, Connor Breton, he scrapes the barriers. As Connor Breton, he's already made his way into the second lap. Now Jack Richards, he is now a lap down. Oh man. If nothing happens to Connor Breton in the next lap and a half, Connor Breton's gonna go on to round 2 after Jack Richards fell off the track. And oh man, Connor Breton almost fell off the track, but he quickly rebounds back. That number 25 Mitsubishi Lancer, sponsored by Holiday Inn Express, is running well right now. And Jack Richards, he is still in this pit area. And right now, Connor Breton, this is just a walk in the park. He's coming out of the final turn and coming towards the white flag. Connor Breton takes the white flag, and he has not looked back. And the crew on Jack Richards' team is desperately trying to get their car back onto the track, but I don't think it's going to matter at this point unless Connor Breton falls off the track. This is the only part of the track where cars can actually fall off. And Connor Breton, he has not fallen off. I think it's safe to say that Connor Breton is well on gonna move to round 2. All he has to do is just complete the S curves and go down the front straightaway. There he goes, approaching the final turn and coming down the front straightaway. Connor Breton advances into round number 2. Connor Breton goes into round 2 of the SCR. And Jack Richards, tough luck for him. On the first lap, he just fell off the track and got stuck. He cannot get back onto the track. Let's show the replay of what happened to him. As Connor Breton in the number 29 Mitsubishi Lancer will advance to round number 2. And here's a replay of what happened to Jack Richards. I guess his car just got loose. Well, he got in the air, and then his car just started to slide. He almost made it out, but he was in the air when that happened. When your car is in the air, you have no control over where it lands. And unfortunately for Jack Richards in that Red Bull Citroen, he will not go on to round 2. And that is a nice car too. I just hate to see that happen to him. Jack Richards, his car is stuck, and he will not make it to round 2. Jack Richards is eliminated. And here we are about to get underway with match number 4 between Andrea Bardosa and Callum Wales. Bardosa's in the Citroen, Callum Wales is in the Ford Fusion. As we got the green light, and oh man, Callum Wales, he gets a good start off the line. The green light is on, but Andrea Bardosa is trying to bounce back on the outside. But Callum Wales, he's gonna drive it hard on the inside as they are about to approach that first jump. And oh man, Andrea Bardosa is trying to bounce back on the inside, but Callum Wales, he has the speed. Here they come through that bumpy section. Callum Wales makes it first, but Andrea Bardosa, she's coming up not too far behind. And Callum Wales in the number 34 Fusion, he's running really fast right now. Heading through the S-curves and into the final turn. And oh man, Callum Wells, he hits the barriers. And that's going to help the 36 catch up as Callum Wells leads the first lap. There they go through that first left turn and towards the big jump again. And oh man, Bardosa, she got a good run off of the inside and she passes Callum Wells for the lead. And oh man, Callum Wells falls off the track. Oh, just like Nicholas Wilson. But he fell off on his own. I think he took that corner too fast. And Callum Wells falls off the track and will have to surrender immediately to pit road. And Andrea Bardosa, she's going into the S-curves. And towards that final turn to take the white flag. Callum Wells, he falls off the track and wrecks. And I think he's done. Callum Wells has a lot of damage to his Ford Fusion. Look at that. That is not good for that hatchback Ford. If we go back to Andrea Bardosa in that Citroen sponsored by Energizer last year, that was Tyler Williams' ride. As she makes it through the bumpy section of the course. This is a crucial part of the track. If you take that first jump wrong, or even the second jump wrong, you will fall off the track. As she makes her way into towards the sidewinder and then the S-curves. And Callum Wells, he is still in the pit area, but it doesn't matter right now. Coming out of the final turn and towards the front straightaway, Andrea Bardosa will make her way into round number 2. Andrea Bardosa wins round number 1. She advances into round number 2. Let's have a replay to look and see what happened to Callum Wells. I believe it all started when Callum Wells got passed on lap 2. He drove in the corner a bit too hard. He gets loose, and he overcorrects right there. He overcorrected it, and then he just landed way too far out. And then the camera zooms in, and then he just falls off, and he just flips into a total corkscrew. No, man, that was almost like exactly Nicholas Wilson's flip, but Nicholas Wilson got taken out by Dillon Poteet, and Callum Wells, he just fell off by himself. That's a tough break for Callum Wells. And doesn't this look familiar? Here we are for match 5 and round number 1. Our season 1 champion Red Belle will take on the Alexander Dawson in the 77. These exact same cars battled out at the final round in New Zealand to determine the championship. But that was with Robert Cruz behind the wheel of that 77. Now it's Alexander Dawson. Let's see what he can do against our season 1 champion. As the drivers have been given the green light. The green flag is out, and Red Belle, she gets a jump. She's proven to Alexander Dawson why she's the champion. And she is leaving Alexander Dawson in the dust, but don't count out that 77. Alexander Dawson's a good driver, as they both taking that first turn. They both land pretty okay. Here comes the bumpy part of the course. Both Red Belle and Alexander Dawson making okay, but Alexander Dawson, he really needs to make up some ground if he wants to make a name for himself. He's the only Dawson in this field. As Red Belle is going on towards the S-curves right now. She has completely left Alexander Dawson in the dust. Coming at the final turn, Red Belle will lead the first lap. We have 2 to go already. And Red Belle, she is gone. She has a 1.5-second lead over Alexander Dawson. Both drivers make it through the first turn, but Alexander Dawson, he had an easier landing. Red Belle, she had a pretty hard landing, and that's gonna make her lose some speed. And Alexander Dawson, he's closing the gap. He's trying to chase her down. And I think Red Belle, she's slowing down. That's not good for the season 1 champion. Alexander Dawson's coming. He may make a move on her on the final lap because he's coming through the S curves right now and approaching that final turn. Red Belle, she's gonna lead another lap and take the white flag. Red Belle takes the white flag, but Alexander Dawson, he's closing the gap. That hard left turn towards that big jump. Oh man, Red Belle, she landed hard. And I think Alexander Dawson did too because he's not speeding up. And oh man, Alexander Dawson, he had a real hard bounce. That's not what he needed. And this is Alexander Dawson's chance. He's closing the gap. And oh man, Red Belle puts the block in. Oh man, Red Belle got a bad bounce from that second jump. And Alexander Dawson is right there. He's gonna try to make his move in the final turn, but he just doesn't have the time. Through the front straightaway, Red Belle will move on to round number 2. Red Belle just beats Alexander Dawson and she makes it into round 2. And Alexander Dawson, he drove his heart out, but he just couldn't get it done. And Alexander Dawson showing a little bit of discomfort because he was right there. He was right there in the final turn, but he just couldn't do it. As Red Belle will win match number 5 and advance into round 2. And oh man, Alexander Dawson almost turns Red Belle. Easy, Dawson. Oh man, this is probably the best race in round 1 so far. Let's go on to match number 6 now. And here we are getting ready for match number 6. Number 32 of Lyndon Wright and the number 39 of Tim Fiegel. Here we are for another 3-lap action race. The green light is out, and Tim Fiegel, he just got a better start than Lyndon Wright in the 32 in that Abu Dhabi Ford Focus. Last year that was Barney Ward's ride. The number 39 had a real controversial finish last year with Justin Perry behind the wheel. He almost won his semifinal match, but then in the final turn, he made one little mistake and it cost him a run at the championship. And oh man, Lyndon Wright, he made a move on Tim Fiegel, but Tim Fiegel, he's trying to bounce back. And Lyndon Wright, he's trying to pull away in that number 32 Ford Focus, but don't count out Tim Fiegel yet in that 39 car. Coming out of the final turn in the front straightaway, Lyndon Wright, he leads the first lap, but Tim Fiegel, he's going to try to close the gap. As we're about to see both drivers make that first jump. And oh man, both drivers got a bad bounce. And I think, but I think Tim Fiegel had a better landing because he's trying to close the gap on that 32 car. And he is coming for that Ford Fusion. Lyndon Wright better keep it cool. And here comes Tim Fiegel. He's making the pass for the lead. Tim Fiegel has made the pass from Lyndon Wright. And right now, they're going through the S-curves and approaching that final turn down the front straightaway. Tim Fiegel leads the second lap as we're having the white flag already. The white flag is out and Tim Fiegel is the race leader. Here they come through that first jump. And oh man, Tim Fiegel, he had a really bad landing from that. And Lyndon Wright, he's going to capitalize on that. Here they come through the bumpy part of the course. The Tim Fiegel, he is not going to take that sitting down. And he is right there. He's trying to come closer, but I think he got a bad landing from that jump. And Tim Fiegel, he's coming. They're going towards the S-curves right now into that final turn. I don't think Tim Fiegel has enough. Now coming down the front straightaway, Lyndon Wright will win the race and he will advance into round 2. Lyndon Wright wins match number 6 of the SEGA Championship Rally. Tim Fiegel, he raced hard, but unfortunately he is eliminated, and he's showing a little bit of discomfort towards Lyndon Wright in the 32. And oh man, Lyndon Wright, he gives him a tap showing him that he didn't like that. I guess he thinks Tim Fiegel is a sore loser, but Lyndon Wright proves to be the better driver today as he will advance into round number 2. And here we are with match number 7, a Ford showdown between Dillon Young in the 21 Ford Focus and Aaron Williams in that special number 40 Pepsi Ford Focus. A showdown between two Fords. We're going to find out who's the better one as they're already having the green light. And Aaron Williams, he dives right in front of Dillon Young. As the green flag is out, Aaron Williams is going to benefit as he gets a jump. Here they come through that first jump. And both of them landed almost exactly the same. But Dillon Young, he is all over the bumper of Aaron Williams. And oh man, Aaron Williams, he had to let out the acceleration a bit. And that's going to cost him big time. Dillon Young takes the lead. And I don't think Aaron Williams like that. He's trying to bounce back. Dillon Young sponsoring Ford and Aaron Williams sponsoring Pepsi. Now going into the S-curves now and towards that final turn. Dillon Young, he'll lead the first lap, but don't count out Aaron Williams yet in that number 40. Both of these drivers, they are trying to show how powerful these Fords can be and how durable they are. Here they come through the first jump. And oh man, I think Aaron Williams, he got a, oh man, he got a bad landing from that, and that's going to make him slow down even more as Dillon Young, he's pulling away. And oh man, now Dillon Young got a bad bounce from that. And here comes Aaron Williams trying to capitalize. Aaron Williams, he's trying to close the gap, but Dillon Young, he quickly corrects himself, and he almost got past. Going into the S-curves now, Dillon Young, he's trying to do whatever he can to block that number 40 because he's coming. They're coming to the final lap now. Dillon Young leads on the final lap, but Aaron Williams, he is coming closer. It all comes down to these jumps and who can take these turns fast and not fall off the track. Here they come through the jump. And oh man, Aaron Williams, he got a bad bounce again. That's the second lap in a row. And that's going to make him slow down. And Dillon Young, he's going in these jumps fast. And oh man, Aaron Williams, he got another bad bounce. And he's really slowing down now. And Dillon Young, he's just driving steadily right heading through the sidewinder and towards the S curves. Aaron Williams, he just has one more ounce of strength, but it's not going to be enough. Coming out of the final turn, Dillon Young will move on to round number 2. Dillon Young moves on to round 2, and Aaron Williams is eliminated. Oh man, Aaron Williams, he drove the wheels off of that Pepsi Ford Fusion, but it just wasn't enough. As Dillon Young of the number 21 Ford Focus will advance on to round 2. He wins his round 1 match. Here comes Aaron Williams pulling up beside him to offer his congratulations. A show of good sportsmanship by the number 40. It's now time to head on to our final match of round 1. And here we are back with the final match of round number 1. Danny Wells sponsoring Alpine Stars and Matthew McMurray sponsoring Subaru. Our final match of round 1, Danny Wells, he looks like he's ready, but the same goes for Matthew McMurray. These two are good friends, and they both got the green light. And oh man, Danny Wells, he gets a nice jump off the lot as the green flag is out. Danny Wells, oh man, Matthew McMurray, what happened to him? Danny Wells, he slams the door on Matthew McMurray and makes him hit the barriers. Oh man, I don't think Matthew McMurray liked that from Danny. And both cars get a bad bounce off of the first jump. Let's see the second one. They both land okay, and Danny Wells, he's gonna capitalize from that. Well, I think we found our second dirty driver of the SCR. Danny Wells, the first is Dillon Poteet. And Matthew McMurray, he really needs to gain some ground if he's gonna have a chance. And Danny Wells, he will lead the first lap. Danny Wells will lead the first lap. That first hard left turn, and here he comes to the first jump. It looks like Matthew McMurray's trying to close the gap a little bit. You know, man, Matthew McMurray, he got a bad landing. And it looks like Danny Wells is trying to lose some speed. Matthew McMurray is trying to catch him. And uh-oh. Danny Wells, he got yet another bad bounce. As both drivers land okay in the second jump, but Matthew McMurray, he's closing the gap on him. Danny Wells better watch out because that 75 is coming. Whoa, they're almost into the S-curve side by side. And Danny Wells, he only has a little lead over Matthew McMurray as they're going into the final turn and taking the white flag. Matthew McMurray, he is almost glued to Danny Wells' bumper. As both cars make that hard left turn, here comes that big jump. And both cars land okay, and Matthew McMurray, he's trying to wait for Danny Wells to make a mistake. And oh man, both cars got bad bounces from that. And oh man, that time Matthew McMurray got a bad bounce. That is not what he needed. And Danny Wells, he's pulling away. Through the sidewinder and towards the S-curves. Heading into the final turn, it looks like that Danny Wells will win the final match of round number 1. Danny Wells moves on to round number 2. Danny Wells advances to round number 2, and Matthew McMurray, I believe the first lap where he scraped the barriers and that bad bounce he got on the final lap ruined his chances. But Danny Wells advances into round number 2 of the SCR. We've got some good competition heating up into round number 2. Round number 2 will probably take place at the Bathurst Sandblast Rally, a new track to the SCR. This is Trent Dunham saying see you next time for round number 2. Here is the update tournament table.